Shabbat shalom, Eric.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Hi, Patricia.
Hi.
How are you, Karen?
Oh, good. Shabbat
How are you
shalom,
doing,
everyone.
Elaine?
Shabbat shalom, Patricia.
I am going to go ahead
everybody.
and mute everybody. So I've just muted everyone so that we can begin. Welcome to all of you. It's whether you're here on Zoom or whether you are joining on YouTube, welcome to all. Let's just take a moment. It's been a week and there have been, I hope, some good things in the week. There have been some hard things in the week as well. So I invite you to take a deep breath and breathe out whatever sort of scatteredness or hecticness is not a word, but I think you know what I mean. Any kind of frazzled feelings that you have coming in, just kind of breathe those out and relax your muscles. We're not doing a proper meditation here, but just making that transition from the profane, the ordinary, to the holy, to a time that is separate, that is set apart from the rest of the week. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. I'd like to invite Ruth Belay to unmute herself and do the blessing over the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Ruth. For the Kiddush, if you have a prayer book, it's on page 123 in the bracketed numbers. And I would like to invite Adrian Knoll to unmute and read the English of the Kiddush for us.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who, finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. B'Shabbat kodsho b'hava uvratzon Inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila l'mikrahi kodesh zeichel etziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'chata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshecha be'ava v'ratzon hinachaltano baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
We turn now to Lecha Dodi. If you have a prayer book, it's on page 138, and it's a poem that is about imagining Shabbat as a bride, bringing joy and beauty to our day of rest.
Lecha dodi likra kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela, Shamo v'zachor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo l'tiferet v'li tehila, Lecha dodi likra kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela, Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'makshava tehila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela, Hitoreri, Hitoreri, Kivareku mi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, Alayich nigla, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, Lecha dodi likra kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likra kala, Bnei Shabbat nekabela.
We continue with the call to worship the Baraku. If you have a prayer book, it's on page 146 in the bracketed numbers, and I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
Baraku et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
I invite you to read with me. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah mitzvot, Chokim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochbeinu v'komenu, Nasiach b'chokecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי חיים חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגי יומם ולילה.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. We continue with the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevon Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Let's be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וגישרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לי תותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. I invite you to read with me. Page 157 if you have a prayer book. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורדי לא תוסיף אלה, נורדי לא תוסיף אלה, מלכותך רנו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זילי זילי אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapore sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לא עושים את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We have come to the tefillah beginning on page 164. If you have a prayer book, I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohe Avotenu v'Emoteinu, Elohe Avraham, Elohe Yitzchak, v'Elohe Yaakov, Elohe Sarah, Elohe Rivka, Elohe Rachel, v'Elohe Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon. לא מלך חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר, מושיע מגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמנת על החיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום. יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Let's be seated. If you have a prayer book, page 173, I invite you to read with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. We have come to Modim, our prayer of gratitude. So I'd like to invite anyone who wishes to, anyone who is feeling grateful for anything today, to put that in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and add it out loud. So Alan says that this week he met 2 long-lost friends in person yesterday, and he is grateful for that. Modim anachnu lach, for seeing people for the first time in a long time. Who else has something that they're grateful for today? Diane Schenker is waving.
Tomorrow is my birthday and my kids are coming and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Wonderful. Mazal tov.
Thank you.
Ad mea vesrim. Congratulations until 120.
Amen.
Happy birthday. Yes, we are so grateful for Diane's birthday. Tamara.
Yes, yesterday my niece Nava gave birth to my brother's first grandchild, a little boy. So I am now a grand-aunt.
Wow, Mazal Tov, Modim anachnu lach. For that, Karen Kramer is grateful for this beautiful service. I didn't quite understand right away, Linda Kushner-Silverman. So Linda can graduate to using a cane during the day from whatever she was using before. Was it a walker? I don't know, but she can graduate to a cane, which means that she is healing. So Modim anachnu lach for healing. Patricia.
I am grateful to all those who donated to help the people of St. Vincent. Each time we are to volunteer and to send the type of stuff, they ship them out each day. So thank everybody who have donated.
Thank you to
so
the
much.
people
Thank
who
you.
have made donations to help the folks in St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have been impacted by the volcano there. So Modim anachnu lach for that generosity. Lori Pandolfo is grateful for a visit with her granddaughter, daughters, and family going to the zoo tomorrow, and flowers are planted. Hooray! Modim anachnu lach for flowers and family and the zoo. Catherine Haslinger says she's grateful that their son is home this weekend. Please give David our greetings and Shabbat Shalom. Maybe David's here. I don't even know. Oh yeah, there he is. Hi, David. Modim anachnu lach for being together with our parents. Gail came through cataract surgery on Tuesday successfully. Modim anachnu lach for successful surgeries and for eyesight. Anybody else? Ruth.
Yes, actually, I'm grateful that my niece, her husband, and their 2 cats are safe from a house fire, which involved their apartment next door, the adjoining wall, and there was a lot of damage. But thank God, yeah, they're safe, so I'm grateful.
Modim anachnu lach for being able to come through a house fire, a terribly scary situation, and be okay. Nathan Schrader is grateful for the kindness and professionalism of the people at the New York Blood Center. Yes, all of the folks that we deal with our health. Thank God for them and for their skills and professionalism and kindness. Modim anachnu lach. Who else? I will say that I am grateful to have the ability and the time and the freedom to go to Israel this summer. I bought plane tickets this week, and so I'm very grateful for that and excited about going, and also that a very dear friend is also going to be going. So that is great. So Modim anachnu lach. Anybody else? Okay. Oh, Joyce Kantrowitz. Unmute yourself, Joyce. Got it.
I'm very grateful to be here tonight and to celebrate tomorrow my great-granddaughter's 9th birthday, and the following day, my daughter's birthday. So this is a birthday weekend, and I'm very grateful for everything good.
All right. Thank you, Joyce. Modim anachnu lach, and happy birthday to your great-granddaughter and to your daughter. So many birthdays this weekend. That's wonderful. Oh, and Laura is grateful for this service.
Yes.
So Modim anachnu lach also for that. So anybody else? Elaine.
Grateful to have reconnections with our nieces and nephews that are coming up over the next weeks. So we've had a lot of good things.
That's great. Thank you. Modim anachnu lach. All right, so much.
And I'll just say before I sing, I'm right there with Joyce, celebrating birthdays. I mentioned last week that Aaron turned 30 and he just walked in the door, and Emily will walk in the door in a minute because she's making him a little birthday party tomorrow to celebrate his 30th birthday. So that's very exciting too. We're very
wonderful,
blessed. Yeah.
Happy birthday to Aaron. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We continue now with our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, page 178.
Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha. Shalom Rav, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha. Tasim leolam. Shalom Rav. Ki ata umelech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata ומלך אדון, מלך אדון לכל השלום, שלום רב, שלום רב, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, שלום רב, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך, בשלומך, שלום רב, שלום רב, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, שלום רב, שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, שלום רב.
Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael bashalom. And now we continue quietly. This is our time to share whatever prayers we have in our hearts. If you have a prayer book, there are some words on page 180 and 181. If you can see the screen, there are some words on the screen. But we always can use the words that are in our own hearts. We continue quietly.
לרצון אמרי פי, וגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי.
May the words of our mouths and the meditations in our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. I'd like to invite you to put into the chat the names of anyone for whom you are praying for healing, if you did not send those names into the office. And I'll also give you an opportunity to say your names out loud if you prefer. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing today Jesse Sakharoff, Ira Weiss, Elaine Drucker, Allison Plummer, Patty Ann Cubero, Ellen Belofsky, Meg Goldate, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Alan Fremer, Susan Bilecki, Dana Haitkin Nelson, Arlene Rosenthal, Michael Luck, Barbara Weiner, Andy Glansman, Amy Juskowitz Soonseller, Ira and Deanna Roth, Roz Bornstein, Dolores Weinberger, Ingrid Grosso, Roberta Gotthelf, Audrey Cohen, Eddie DeAngelis, Richard Cherry, Ira Goldman, Vicky Lightnaker, Sarah Brooks Kamen, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Richie Stein, Jeff Abel, Marilyn Birnbaum, Roz Solomon, Joan Lifshitz, Stuart Armstrong, Della Cohen, Joel Secundi, Delphine Wolf, Bill McShane, Leora Stuckey, Linda Kushner-Silverman, Diane Schenker, Ronald Homan, Fred Perlman, Julie Cicero, Louis Cicero, Irv Golden, Samuel Kushnick, Randall Rose, Joseph T. Trovato, Isadora Frost, Liz Yasuda, Mark, Connie, and Paul Steiner, Elizabeth and Garrett Caliberg, Marion Mandel, Anne-Marie Rogan, Monica Beyer, Patty and Erwin Cohen, Judge Milton Platt, Thea Platt Glasser, Sandra and Jay Pastor, Mitchell Pastor, Phyllis Schwartz, Terry O'Leary, Laura Stanley, Mimi Karp, Sharon Zinn, Nicole Moskowitz, and I will add Linda Feller, who let me know that she is not feeling well right now. Also, Mark Mangini, Karen Swass, Sue Handworker, Jerry Jaffe, Lorraine Zarrow, Bonnie Greenbaum, Jackson and Tara Kushner, Jeff Horn, Eliza Kaplan, Michael Moore, Dave Stanger, Elliot Wolfsey, Michael Datch, Cindy Nathanson, Suzanne Mishler Hernandez, Sunny, Mia, Carlos, Joan Lifshutz, Mary Korchowski, Mickey Bierman, Rita Soul, Ron Weinberg, Lancelot Grant, Sharon Barrow, Stacy, David and Wilma Mauser, Hannah Paines, Joanna Marie, Teresa O'Sullivan, Louisa Espute, Abraham Kalesi, women in Jamaica who are in danger, the people of India who are suffering from COVID-19, and also those who continue to be harmed by the volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which has spewed out some more ash. Barry Ensminger, Bobby and Dan, David and Marilyn Bader, Stacy Bader Curry, Amy Bona Cohen, Pat Martin, Sam Sarfati, Della Cohen, Ronnie Katlowitz, Shelley Samet, Ruth Gordon, Stanley Tenen, David Gershon, Zizi Potsdam, Brenda Katroser, Brenda McBasey, Estelle Altork, the Michael Schack family, Ron Cricky, Laura Cricky, Susan Vi, and how did I miss Jocelyn Josephs? Thank you, Mona. Jocelyn Josephs also. Does anyone have any other names to add?
Joyce Myers.
Okay, thank you, Jean.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Barbara Ann Varone.
Thank you, Deanna. Anybody else? You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a name to add. Okay. We also include all of those who are suffering from COVID-19, as was already mentioned, particularly in India, but where things are very, very bad right now, but also around the world. We include those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel, and those who have been harmed in other disasters, whether natural or human created. And we include here the 150 people that we know of right now who were hurt in the stampede in Israel at the Lag BaOmer celebration in Meron. Let me share the screen again for the Misha Berach. We pray for a full and complete healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Avotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe berach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So today is Lag BaOmer. It hasn't ended until we count the next day of the Omer, which we'll do at the conclusion of my Devar Torah. So that means that it's still Lag BaOmer today. Lag BaOmer is the 33rd day of the Omer, and the Omer is the period of time between Passover and Shavuot. We count the days of the Omer because the Torah tells us to. It says to count 49 days from the beginning of Passover, and then the 50th day is our next major festival, Shavuot. Now, over time, Jews have layered counting onto this, or layered meaning onto this counting, which probably originally had an agricultural resonance that perhaps had to do with how long it takes for barley to go from planting to harvest, because Shavuot is the time of the barley harvest. So one tradition about the Omer says that there was a terrible plague during this period of time among the great Rabbi Akiva's students, and that the plague stopped on the 33rd day of the Omer. Another tradition relates to one of Rabbi Akiva's students, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, and this was in the 2nd century CE. So were Rabbi Akiva's students, by the way. Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai was forced to hide in a cave for 12 years after he survived a rebellion against the Romans, which was horribly, horribly defeated. According to legend, he and his son were sustained by a miraculous well and a miraculous carob tree as they studied and prayed in the cave for all those years. According to an article about Lag BaOmer on myjewishlearning.com, when they finally emerged, Shimon denigrated all practical occupations, insisting that people engage only in the study of the Torah. For this, God confined the two to the cave for another year, accusing Shimon of destroying the world with his rigid asceticism. But Rabbi Shimon's otherworldliness resonated with mystics in his own time and later, so much so that Jewish mystical tradition, ascribes the authorship of the Zohar to him. And the Zohar is the key work of Kabbalah, although it was actually most likely written in the 12th century or in the 13th century, but you know, we're not going to get into that. Tradition says Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai is the one who wrote it, and he died on Lag BaOmer. So Lag BaOmer becomes this minor festival on the Jewish calendar, which is celebrated in Israel with bonfires and parties. Ultra-Orthodox Jews celebrate Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. So I live near a borough park. So earlier today, I could hear the celebrations going on for Lag BaOmer, and a float even went past my house. So there's a picture of the float going past my house today with clowns on the float. And the sign that's on there talks about how we're celebrating Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. So that's what they're doing. Just wanted to share that with you today. So Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's tomb is in Meron, in the north of Israel, near Tzfat. And thousands of ultra-Orthodox Jewish men and boys have a custom of going to his tomb for Lag BaOmer. They light bonfires, they sing, they dance. Last year, they were not allowed to gather there because of COVID. And this year, there were warnings that it could become a super spreader event, but they were not restricted from gathering. So there were about 90,000 men and boys there, mostly ultra-Orthodox, and they were singing and they were dancing when the catastrophe struck, which most of you have probably heard about. Somehow, apparently, thousands of them were trying to enter an enclosed space, and a stampede began. So the mood at first was ecstatic, and I want to show you a short video of what that looked like. And it may just take me a second because I have to find it. Nope. Hang on. I have it open, but I have to. Now I can't find it. All right, I had it open, but now I don't find it. But what it is, I'll just tell you, is a video of thousands of men and boys tightly packed, all jumping up and down pretty much at the same time. And it's kind of incredible. And you can see, you know, I understand that many of us may feel that it's irresponsible to be so close together, unmasked, because the pandemic is really not over. And I hear that and I agree with it. And at the same time, the ecstasy of it is the kind of thing that really can feel very, very powerful. So yeah, unfortunately, I can't show that to you right now. But of course, as soon as people realized what was happening, the atmosphere changed, and joy, ecstasy turned into shock and sadness. What I kind of take away from this is that sometimes it seems amazing in this world that we can celebrate at all. There is always pain and suffering, and a lot of it. And it only takes a moment for a celebration to turn into a catastrophe. I remember as a small child when having this sensation of when like I was really happy and having a wonderful time, and then I would fall down and hurt myself, and suddenly I would be crying. And I was amazed, even as a little kid, at how suddenly that could turn around, that happiness could turn into pain. And we see that so often, and yet we persist. Our tradition teaches us to find beauty in the everyday, whether it's a cherry blossom, the scent of a lilac, or the voice of someone dear to us. We find reasons to celebrate even while we keep in mind those who are struggling and in pain. Our lives, in the grand scheme of things, are short. In the book of the prophet Isaiah, we read, "All flesh is grass, and all its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, when the wind of the eternal blows upon it. Surely the people are grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God shall endure forever." So yes, in the grand scheme of things, yes. The cherry blossoms fall from the trees, the lilac flowers fade and dry up. Our loved ones and we ourselves will die, sometimes after living a full life and sometimes not. At the same time, we're part of something larger. We're part of a long chain of tradition, including those of us who were not born into that tradition and have chosen to join ourselves with it. We recognize the enduring nature of the wisdom and beauty of our texts and the interpretations of them over thousands of years, interpretations that we add to by bringing our own experience and understanding to them. In spite of the hand-wringing of every single generation ever, that the Jewish people is shrinking and in danger of extinction, here we still are. That is worth celebrating, as is every joyful holiday and every triumph and every achievement and every bit of beauty that we can find. It is horrible that 45 men and boys were killed during the celebration in Meron this year, and that 150 others were hurt. We are linked to them by that indefinable link that ties all who are part of the Jewish people together, even though our Jewish practices and theirs are very different. Through all the different kinds of Jewish practice, all the different ways that people do Judaism, we are all carrying Judaism forward and adding to its richness and putting ourselves in it in a way that will last longer than our physical lives. May the memories of those who died this Lag BaOmer be a blessing, and may we be inspired to value each day of our lives as well as the enduring and evolving wisdom of our tradition. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
This is a chant of Shefa Gold, and it's pilgrimage to Jerusalem, your city. With compassion you will return. LeYerushalayim Irecha Yerushalayim Irecha Berachamim tashuv, Berachamim tashuv. Gam ki elech begates al mavet, lo irara, lo irara. Gam ki elech begates al mavet, lo irara, lo irara. Though I walk through the valley of death, I will not fear. Though I walk through the valley of death, my God is near. Gam ki elech begates al mavet, lo irara, lo irara. Gam ki elech begates al mavet, lo irara, lo irara.
Before we turn to the Aleinu, we count the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy by giving us commandments and who has commanded us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom arba'a ushloshim yom, shehem arba'a shavuot ve'shisha yamim la Omer. Today is 34 days of the Omer, which is 4 weeks and 6 days of the Omer. And now we turn to the Aleinu. If you have a prayer book, it begins on page 586 in the bracketed numbers at the top of the page. And I invite you, if you're able, to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, עתיק גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונעמה וחיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Let's be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. I have put this week's yard sites up on the screen, and we remember, if you have other names that you would like to add for the mourner's Kaddish today, please add them in the chat, and I'll also give you an opportunity to add them aloud if you prefer. We remember those who have died in the past year. Dorothea Schuring. Dorothea Schuring was my youngest aunt. She died this week at the age of 65. She had Down syndrome, so she actually lived longer than most people with Down syndrome. I haven't seen her in many years. She lived in Germany, but it is sad. Peter Brandenberger, Lloyd Ricketts, Stuart Paley, Ellie Heimlich, Sherry Burns, Terry Singer, Henry Kuhn, Lily Zimmett, Bob Perlman, Ira Berkowitz, Bayumi Mohammed, Amy Zisovic, Mary Holland, Dorothy Webster, Robert Allen Santos Sr., Robert Bonenfant, Barry Strumpf, Judy Epstein, Dorothy Mason, Judy Panzer, Barry Ween, Charlotte Brown, David Schachter, Douglas Maines, Devorah Lewis, Tria Sapir, Jane Evans, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Manny Pastor, Ruth Rubin, Harris Reese, Emerson Berger, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Caroline McNamara, Marian McGivney, Ronnie Turek, Michaela Schaefer, Helen Zagerman Schwimmer, Ido Sheffi, Elaine Gordet, Stephen Kamholtz, Park Shing Lam, Carol Gross, Carol Andre, Robert Serpico, Jeanette Riley, Melvin Barish, William Lamp, Ina Sandals, Martin Shankin, Solomon Tettelbaum, Howard Jankelowitz, Sean Singer, Jeff Harris, Sammy Berger, and this week we include those who died in the stampede in Israel. Inga Probetsky, Kevin McCarthy, Mickey Crowley, Nancy Connor, Jerome Berlin, John Coakley. On our yard site list this week are included Ray Bachner, Lisa Bachner's mother, Harry Baylor, a beloved congregant and husband of Rosalind Baylor, Nathan Glasser, Steve Glasser's father, Samuel Goldberg, a friend or relative of Mona Goldberg, Leonard Homer, remembered by Brian and Karen Wilco, Sylvia Jeff Levinson's grandmother, Jack Morrell, Mildred Morrell's father-in-law, Shirley Olasav, David Olasav's aunt, and Frances Schachter, Jonathan Schachter's mother. Does anyone have any other names to add, or if you would like to tell us about someone who's on the yahrzeit list, please do that as well. Diane?
Arthur Levy, Arnold Kaplan, and Edith Kaplan were all related. They were sister and brothers and brother-in-law. The nicest, sweetest, kindest people you would ever want to meet. Miss them.
Thank you, Diane. Mona?
Yes, Samuel Goldberg was my father-in-law.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, yes. Judith Turiel was one of the people who brought me and Les into the reform movement. And I thank her daily.
Me too. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else. I'm scrolling through. Okay. So we also include all of those millions of people around the world who have died from COVID-19. We include also those who have died from other causes, whether in war or famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. If you have a prayer book, the Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598 in the bracketed numbers. And I invite you, if you're able, to rise and join in or to participate according to your custom. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'almad Yivrach Hirutei v'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dam yiran be'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to the bereaved wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. Let's be seated.
Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
I'd like to invite our president, Eric Platt, to give us the announcements.
Hi, good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Thank you all for coming to services this evening. Tomorrow at 9:15 is religious school, and at 9:45 is Biyakad, led by Rabbi Hoover, followed by services at 11 o'clock. And then tomorrow evening at 7:30 p.m., join us for a spring sing-along that's being sponsored by the membership committee. And you'll get to sing and groove with Kyle McGee and Gail Levine, who will lead us in music and dance from all over the world. And on Sunday, because how could we have only one thing on the week? On Sunday, May 2nd at 3 p.m., we have Tracing Your Jewish Roots at Home, Level 2, which is an interactive online presentation that's presented by one of the Center for Jewish History's genealogy librarians, who will show you how to broaden your family history search beyond the databases to specific online resources for places of origin worldwide. See, level 1 was how to find things in this country about your family. Level 2 is to find out about your family history before they came to the United States. So, and then on Monday, May 3rd, at 4 p.m., there's gentle chair yoga, and there's still a few spots open, so you're welcome to register. And Tuesday, May 4th at 1 p.m. is the afternoon Torah study with Rabbi Pinsky. Look out for the link, which will be sent out on Monday or Tuesday morning. And on Tuesday, May 4th, in the evening at 7:30 p.m., it's a special congregational meeting where we're to vote on Rabbi Pinsky's contract renewal. The Zoom information was sent out this evening, and if you cannot attend the meeting, please either send in the absentee ballot or call the temple office, but really try to attend, because we need a quorum in order to have the meeting, and we really need to get this business done. Then next week and next Shabbat on Friday, of course, there'll be Rabbi Hoover will lead the poetry text study at 7 p.m. And then at 8 p.m., Shabbat service will be presented by the women of Beshert, a sisterhood organization, and they will lead the service. So please try to attend to support the women of Beshert, a sisterhood organization. And also next weekend, on Saturday, May 8th, besides religious school at 9:15 a.m. and Biyakad at 9:45 a.m., and then Shabbat service at 11 a.m., please join us at 7:30 p.m. for our Nefesh Mountain concert, which is going to take place on Zoom. And it's a wonderful evening, and it will help support the restoration of our stained glass windows. I encourage you to come, because you won't be disappointed. So please register and make it a point to join us for that concert. It'll really be a great event. So please do attend. And a reminder that the book, which I have seen what's been presented so far, and it's going to be a beautiful keepsake, whether you have it virtually or eventually get a copy. It really has a lot of nice things that our fellow congregants have put into the book. A lot of very creative things, and a lot of remembrances over this past year and a half. So please put in an ad. it helps support the temple, but more it shows our gratitude for everything that's happened in the past year and a half, and a great remembrance of that shows our resilience and creativity and our very strong community. So please put in any ad would be helpful. And I don't have anything more. So have a good weekend, have a nice week, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So information will be coming out soon about Shavuot. And also there is going to be an online Ramadan Iftar program that we are invited to participate in. So that information is going to be coming out too. That's after next week. I'd like to thank Ruth Belay for doing the blessing over the candles this evening, and Adrian Knoll for the Kiddush, and Noni for the lovely music, and myself for the brilliance of that Devar Torah. I'm just kidding. We are going to end with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharid, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi Hamelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bohem LeShalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malach HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedechem Shalom, Malachi HaShalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech Malachi HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face towards you and give you peace. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.